Hello, cine folks all over the world. Welcome back to the Classics, the cinematic movie podcast that takes you back to the iconic films of 20 years ago. Right here on iHeartRadio. I am your guy, Jay Alonzo. You can find me on all the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, simply at I am Jay Alonzo. You talk to me and I talk back. And with me is my guy, my co-host with the mostest. That makes no fucking sense. But.
And apparently we're putting out my last name out there now, which is cool. David Neff, up here in the building.
The Neff Meister.
Recently, a little tired tonight. But, we're excited to have you guys here. We recently just put out a review for Ready Player One, for those of you who have not seen it.
Damn good review. I still haven't seen the movie yet.
No?
No.
It is. There's 138 Easter eggs. Try to catch them all. I feel like it's just Pokemon for references.
Yeah. I heard it's like a super 90s reference orgy.
Yeah, it's like 90s, 80s, and then a sprinkle of the 70s in there.
Wow.
I mean, it's phenomenal. Please go see it. It's a lot of fun. Take your kids, take your wife, take your girl on site. Doesn't matter. Go have fun. Enjoy yourself there.
Yes. So we have some things to announce. Some stuff going on. It's our first show of April. I had an April Fool's joke planned for the center folks, but timing just would not allow it. Plus, I figured, you probably had enough April Fools going on this week. Plus, it was rent. See, it's a meme going on saying, how the fuck was it April Fool's Day, Easter, and rent was all the same day?
I mean, it's terrible.
It's like, wait a minute. Something's got to give.
That's why I didn't pay, and now I'm evicted. I'm just kidding.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, April Fool's joke, you're getting evicted. And you have Easter. You're having Easter dinner tonight. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, but yeah, we have some stuff to announce for you guys. We have we have this thing we've been kicking around for a little while, and when we first started the show, I wanted to keep the show, as far as the movies we talk about, 20 years. All right, because 20 years is that perfect gap of time that you will genuinely remember as far as this generation.
Right.
And now here we are in 2018. 20 years ago was 1998. You vividly remember 1998.
Unfortunately.
But a lot of people were coming to me saying, yo, Jay, I mean, 20 years is cool and all. But what about movies from the 80s, movies from the 70s, and early 90s, da-da-da-da. And I was constantly, people hitting me up to do certain movies that just long past that 20-year gap. So to shut them the fuck up and to kind of try out something new, we here at Back to the Classics decided to put together once every few months the Super Throwback Series episode, and in which case we talk about movies that are far past 20 years. And to bring back that super nostalgia for those people who's like, yeah, that's my shit. So we're not going to announce the movie yet, but it's the Super Throwback Series episode. That episode isn't about, I want to say, 2 weeks from now.
Right.
Yeah.
Circle it in April 19th.
Is it April 19th?
Sure.
Okay, so we'll say April 19th.
So the day before 420.
Yes.
The day before 420. Please check your podcast.
That's right.
For the April 19th episode.
This show will be out so you can light on up and reminisce with us and everything. But I got a special guest on there. Actually, one of the guys who inspired me to actually present this new idea to the show. Now, it's not monthly. It's going to be once every few months. Just kind of working it out, see if we get the response that we want with it. But we are going to do a Super Throwback Series, talk about movies beyond 20 years old. So we're talking about stuff 30, 40 years old. Mm-hmm. So look forward to that. The next thing we're doing, another big episode we're talking about, we're going to have a 2-episode week that week. We have the movie that week. We're not going to say what it is yet, but there's also the week of Infinity War.
Yeah.
Infinity War is 3 weeks away.
I know. We're right around the corner.
Shit.
Welcome to summer 2018.
Makes my balls tingle. No.
The blood is boiling.
Oh, my God.
What's happening down there?
So we were like, we have to. This is a moment in time. 10 years ago, we got our first Marvel movie, which was Iron Man 1.
Exactly.
So me and Dave decided, the day before you guys break out there and you go see Infinity War, we're gonna do a whole episode breaking down all 18. Obviously not thoroughly all 18, like how we never do a movie, but we're going to break down all 18 MCU movies leading up to Infinity War. All right?
We'll talk about the good.
We'll
talk about Thor 2.
Yep.
We'll talk about some of them that absolutely worked and had changed the landscape at the time for what was going on during the Marvel world. And at the same token, we will talk about where the future of it is going to lead after Infinity War Part 2, which obviously comes out next year. So get excited.
Plus the overall impact of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and how nobody's doing it like them. And really, you watch the universe just evolve.
It really is.
When it went from Paramount to Disney, you really watch it like evolve. Like I'm right now, I'm on. I just finished the first Avengers. Fucking love that movie still, but I just finished the first Avengers. Now we're going to Iron Man 3. God be with me. Not my favorite. But as the movies evolve, you really do find an appreciation for what the MCU has done up to this point. Even rewatching Thor 1, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I did find some enjoyment in it recently when I watched it. Same thing with Captain America: First Avenger.
Right.
I didn't really love it. Then I watched it. It wasn't that bad.
So it's gonna be a lot more nostalgia. Maybe not the classic Back to the Classic shows where we're reviewing a movie from 20 years ago, but it's going to lead us up to where we are today, what you can expect from the MCU going forward. And there's been a lot of excitement, a lot of buildup at this point, and we've waited a very, very long time to get to this point. And I'm stoked myself. I will be there midnight that Thursday to definitely check it out.
Yeah, we may have to shoot a review for that one.
Yes.
Like that night, probably.
Probably.
Yeah, we'll get it done. Yeah, we'll get it done. April 19th, the super throwback premiere is on April 19th. The very next week, you got the MCU breakdown episode. Super excited for it. That's April 26th. There we go. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, April 26th. Yeah, April 19th, Super Throwback, April 26th, MCU show.
That's fine.
Boom. All right. Now to the issue at hand, what brings us together on this glorious Thursday night. Well, by the time you hear this Thursday night, we're here to talk about the best villains, not heroes, villains of the 21st century of movies. What I thought would have been a pretty simple episode has turned into an actual makes a head scratch. Like,
it's going to be a little bit of a debate.
We have some damn good movie villains that we've not super. And the rules are no superhero movies, no Disney flicks, no animation. Period.
Right.
We're doing simply films of the 21st century.
So this may be a little bit difficult for those who don't necessarily watch movies and they think of all the greatest movie villains of all time. And, of course, you're going to throw out Norman Bates. You're going to throw out Hannibal Lecter. You're going to throw out Freddy Krueger, Jason, and, of course, Darth Vader.
Michael Myers.
Yeah,
the list goes on and on.
But the problem with that is that's very much an interchangeable list. And sometimes you realize that the evolution of the villain leading into where we are now has kind of changed the landscape a little bit. And maybe not now, but 20 years from now, if you ever stumble upon this file and decide to re-listen to it, and you think of, and these movies could actually become another Back to the Classic 20 years from now. So it's one of those things that, as exciting as the previous era has become, the current era has still laid out a great foundation of movie villains during this time. So we're going to do a top 5 for you.
Let's first break down, in your opinion, what makes the perfect villain.
So there's a couple things. One, was the plan crazy enough to almost work? Meaning, or did it work? which is kind of an interchangeable question.
Like, did it work too well?
Right. Did it work too well? Was the original plan decided to do something worse? 2, how relatable or despising is this villain? Meaning, how much is this villain that you look at and you say, I can really, really see why this person decided to become this? Or B, why this person is just so disgusting that you want nothing to do with?
Or and to jump on that, like, I like my villains to be either one, relatable, 2, it depends on the character, obviously, but I love a villain with like fucking like crazy charisma, charming as fuck,
of course,
maniacal as fuck, But you also understand why he's doing what he's doing,
right? Exactly.
Why they're doing what they're doing,
right?
And more than that, it's been villains to where I'm so in tune with him or her. I just don't want them to go. Like, I kind of want to see where this goes. With like, I like the villains so much. I kind of root for them more than I do for the fucking hero.
Sometimes. And that was a recent problem, obviously. And again, it's a little too bad that we're not including comic book villains, because I do believe Killmonger would eventually, not yet, but in the next year or so, people are going to realize how truly special that villain was, and they're going to say,
and they're already saying he's easily top 3 Marvel villains.
Exactly. So it's one of those things where you look at a character like Killmonger, and you realize, wow, either the actor's performance really made that character come to life, or the writing that made the actor's performance,
the collaboration itself.
Exactly. Yeah. And then you think, man, I can't really blame the kid, and I actually feel sorry. Or wow, if different things had broken different ways, what would have happened to that character instead?
Yeah, if we were talking comic book movies, Killmonger and Heath Ledger's Joker would easily battle for that number 1 spot. And the reason why is because they're 2 totally different villains.
Of course.
Killmonger, you understand why he's doing what he's doing. You relate to him. You kind of low-key feel for him. But at the same time, it's like the way you're going about it is just not cool. The Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker, I remember the day I saw Dark Knight, where I saw it, the time, the whole 9, and I remember sitting in the theater and he fucking gave me chills.
Yes.
To the point to where Batman's dope. My favorite superhero, but it's like, dude, I need more Joker though.
Exactly.
Like, I need more Joker, because not only does he just keeps the movie going and it's entertaining to watch him do what he do, he's just so fucking good at it, And really, like we said, Killmonger was the villain to where, like, you understand you understand why he's doing what he's doing, and you relate, yada yada yada. But with the Joker has no real reason. He just wants to watch the fucking world burn.
Yes.
And that's the reason why it's like, yeah, you come up with these crazy situations for Batman to get out of for no reason, just to have some fun.
Well, Batman had to break the law eventually to actually stop him.
Yes.
So it's one of those things where it's like, at what point would you stop to realize that you need to stop to stop your nemesis? The movie that we did earlier, Desperate Measures. What would you do to save your child? Well, same question for Batman. What would you do to stop the most maniacal, what would you call it, element of chaos that has ever been known to existence? Because the Clown Prince of Terror is exactly chaos embodiment.
And with the Dark Knight was able to tell you that the Joker's whole thing is, I just like being your villain.
Exactly.
Like, without you, there is no me. Without me, there's definitely no you.
Exactly.
You need someone to hate. You need someone to go after. Why not? Why not be me? That's why, like, no shade to Jared Leto's Joker, but Heath.
Oh, wait, hold on. No, Jared Leto's Joker should not be in the conversation.
I mean, no. For what he gave, it was but the thing was, for me, was,
I'll take Jack Nicholson any day.
Any day of the week. But if we're leaving Leto out and we're just comparing Nicholson, Ledger, Romero, and
I'm okay with that. And Hamill, I'm really okay with that.
Heath Ledger for my generation is my Joker.
Yeah.
I mean, I can just put on Dark Knight right now, and I can just fast forward to the Joker scenes and be. I won't, because once I put it on, like, I love that fucking movie. So
It's amazing.
So anyway,
we're gonna move forward. We're gonna talk about top 5 villains 21st century. And do you have your list?
I have my list.
You good?
I have my list.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start this off.
So we're doing 5.
We are doing 5 because if we did 10, this show would go on for 2 hours.
Do you have any honorable mentions? So I got like 3.
All right, let me hear your honorable mentions.
My first has to go to Anton, No Country for Old Men, played by Javier Bardem, which is ironically another honorable mention played by him.
Yes,
Javier Bardem as a bad guy, dude. He bothers me because like you're such an uncomfortable presence, and because the accent is not necessarily threatening, just the way he delivers his lines. Like when you compare, like, okay, so my 2 honorable mentions, except my third one, my 2 honorable mentions is Javier Bardem as Anton in No Country for Old Men, and Javier Bardem as what's his name in Skyfall. Oh my god, Jesus, what's his name?
Cyanide Face.
Cyanide Face. I'm gonna say Blonde Javier for Skyfall.
That's fair.
But he just has this perfect way of taunting somebody.
Yes.
And not raising his voice a bit. He's just
Raul Silva.
Raul Silva. There we go. And I like Blonde Javier better. But anyway, Raul Silva.
Blonde Javier.
But the way he delivers these maniacal characters and keep them so calm. Like Anton frightened me when I first saw No Country for Old Men. He's a guy, if I owned like a liquor store, I would hate for him to walk inside like that. So listen, go and get your Old English, get your OE, pay for it. You need a swisher? Go and get a swisher, bro. And then walk on it. I need no smoke from you at all. That little air pump gun he had, oh, God. Man.
All right, who's your other? Is that just it? Just those 2?
I have those 2. And then my third honorable mention, it's so hard because I love Daniel Lewis, I really do. But Bill the Butcher,
that's fair.
As in Gangs of New York, he is literally the guy.
Yeah,
he's like playing a video game. He'd be like, he's the last guy you got to fight so you can beat the game.
It really is.
I mean, but the way he portrays that character in 19 whatever the hell New York. Martin Scorsese brought this character to a point where, like, dude, I cannot wait to see DiCaprio kick your ass. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be tough, but I just want to see where it goes. But yeah, definitely Daniel Lewis as Bill the Butcher.
All right, I will give you 3 as well since you decided to give 3. First one, this one's pretty easy. I'm actually going to say Regina George, Mean Girls.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Let me explain. Regina George is everything you hated about high school. She was pretty. She was incredibly popular. And yet there was nothing about her that ever seemed redeemable until she actually became redeemable. But every little action she did, first off, I got the biggest crush on Rachel McAdams. Okay. Even to this day, I just think she's absolutely adorable. But Regina George in Heathers, in Mean Girls, obviously, is basically a carbon copy of Heathers, right, and without a murder. But she was basically the devil incarnate. She really was, because she did everything absolutely possible to undermine and make you feel terrible. But because she didn't do anything absolutely nefarious, that's why she's only not.
She's just a horrible person.
She is a horrible person. My second one is going to be Lee Woo Jin, played by Yu Ji-tai. Old boy.
Yes.
All right. If you've never seen Old Boy, please skip the American version and watch the Korean version.
There's nothing wrong with Spike's version. I mean, it's, well, okay. I have my problems, but whatever.
All right, come on. It kind of...
Nothing beats the original version.
No. Wu Jin... okay. When you think of these classic movie villains and you think of everything, there's one thing almost none of them have, and that's patience. Li Wu Jin waited a very, very long time to get his full revenge on somebody because of something that happened in his teenage youth. And he waited until he was capable as a man to really screw the worst person. I'm not going to spoil the movie because I'm sorry. You really need to see it. I will tell you right now, you will probably never want to watch it again. But I promise you, it will mess with your head for absolute days upon days upon days. And it's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal piece of work. I will say one fun fact about the film. The main character, who is a vegetarian in real life, the octopus scene, I don't know if you know this, but that was a real octopus. That was a live octopus that he decided to eat to get over a poison. That's all I'm really going to say. And he literally cried his eyes out afterwards. He was that dedicated to make this role happen. And that's something that that's Daniel Day-Lewis style of thinking right there, which is a little tough to pull off. The last one, Mrs. Carmody, The Mist.
Okay.
Marcia Gay Harden.
Let me tell you right now, you pulled that out of your ass because I was like, wait a minute. I thought about her because she gets fucking weird. Like, she gets really odd toward, like, the good second or third act.
Yeah.
Good choice, though. Good.
She just... Okay, here's the thing. When you think of a faith-based culture, and this isn't going to get religious at all, but it essentially, when you have certain people that decide that an apocalyptic event happens and decide to prey upon your faith, and then forces an entire group of people to go against you so that they can believe in her faith, that's despicable. Like totally, absolutely, completely. It has nothing to do with religion. It's certain bad circumstances have happened, and they decide to find a way to manipulate an entire group of people to carry out certain commands. That's
Miss is an excellent movie.
It is, and it has one of the best and one of the worst endings I've ever seen.
Yeah,
it's tough to swallow, but it's amazing, and I think it's great. Anyways, those are my honorable mentions.
All right,
let's get into my top 5.
So, all right, so I'll kick off the top 5.
All right, go ahead.
For number 5, okay, so my number 5. It took me a while to see where I wanted to place my number 5, only because the performance is just, it's haunting in a sense, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But my number 5 is going to have to be, I don't want to say this. I think, okay, wait a minute. Let me make sure I got this right. Yeah, my number 5, hands down, is going to be Tom Cruise as Vincent. Collateral.
Yeah, it's a good one.
My God. Okay, so Cruise. My relationship with Tom Cruise is very fickle. It's like, you're a smug fucker, but it's like, that's who you are. But at the same time, I'm a huge fan of the Mission movies. Huge fan, except 2. Of course. To see Tom Cruise play a villain, outside of Interview with the Vampire, he's never done a villain role. Like, he's always been the hero.
Right.
So when this random movie comes out with Cruise and Jamie Foxx, that pairing in itself, like, that's not going to work. But, oh my God, it did. And Tom Cruise plays this mysterious figure, But the dude, and the thing about him is he's going through the night with Fox's character, almost knowing he's not going to, he himself may not even make it out the city tonight.
Right.
You may not make it out of this thing alive.
But he has a mission.
But you have a mission to carry out, and you got to finish the mission. And so the shit he puts Fox through is unbelievable. Like, one of the most chilling moments to me in the movie is, I want to say, is when Fox takes the bag. No, right before that. Anyway, the line goes, "If you don't do this, I'm going to kill you. make the hit, and execute your mother on the way to the airport. And it was just like, fuck. Because the thing is, when he finally gets into the cab with, with Fox's character, he pretty much has Fox dead locked on. I know where your mother is. I know where you stay. I know who you work for. You can't escape me tonight. Trust me. The only way you can escape me is if you kill me. And the way he plays this character is just fucking brilliant. Fucking brilliant. Even the way he goes out is fucking brilliant.
It really is.
I didn't want to see him just get shot up or some crazy death happen. Him get incinerated. No, the way that, and I'm going to spoil it if you haven't seen it. Collateral, you should have been seeing Collateral. Shame on you. But the way that Fox and Cruz have this shootout between subway doors, only to find out that Cruz took that bullet. Oh God! And the ending monologue, which circles back to a conversation they had earlier in the movie, is how he goes out. Perfect. I love the movie, bro. Perfect ending. Perfect ending. That's a great villain.
It really is.
Great villain.
It's kind of tough to top that, to be honest. Oh, my Lord. Tom Cruise, first off, is just naturally creepy, but he's also naturally great at the same time. He can easily charm you as the protagonist in the film, as he did as Jerry Maguire, and he could easily be a devastating villain if he ever really wanted to be.
Yes.
And the thing is that it wasn't like his career really slowed down in that way. So I bow to you, sir. That was a really tough pick. All right, my number 5. This movie came out in 2012. It is one of my favorite performances from one of my favorite actors. I actually have to tie this in with another one of his characters that's in that movie. So it's actually both of them. So I'm sorry, it's a little bit cheating, but without one, you really don't have the other. Calvin Candy and Steven from Django Unchained.
Yep, that's
now
okay.
All right, Calvin Candy. Steven is real quick. Steven is played by Samuel Jackson,
mm-hmm.
and I will just say this: at the end of towards the end of the movie, you just really want that guy dead. He took a lifestyle of being a slave and found a way to exploit it to his deepest standards by basically playing the Uncle Ruckus of slaves back in the 19th century. And the only reason why I have to kind of put both of them together here is because a lot of the work that Calvin has to do, Steven is one that somewhat carries out, which is a little unfair. But Calvin Candy, first, he comes into this and he's so charismatic. Like you're not really sure what to think of him. But the first scene you see him have is he's having a Mandingo fight. He has two black men that are fighting each other, and he's
mm-hmm.
clearly looking to see who can either cripple or kill the other one to the best of his ability. But the most chilling scene that he has, and DiCaprio always gets a monologue every movie. And he did everything in his power. I couldn't help but laugh during the Oscars when Kobe got his Oscar. And they said list of movies that it took before Leo DiCaprio had to gain his Oscar until they finally showed like The Revenant. But there's clearly like 20 movies above that he really should have gotten an Oscar a long time ago, but he didn't. And then Kobe just has one. That always cracks me up. But
just to touch on that, because just for a second time, Calvin Candy and Steven are my number 3.
Oh, okay.
Now
well, that's fair.
Okay, so to piggyback off what you just said, your first introduction to Calvin Candy is so, because he's flamboyant,
At first I was intrigued, but now you have my
he's actually a bit of a gentleman too, actually.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's just the way he just carries himself. But the thing is, see how welcoming he is, and how off top he's not about the bullshit, because the first thing he says to Schultz and Django was, "Why are you looking at him? Why do you want to get into Mandingo fighting?"
Right.
And then Schultz goes, "You don't want your guy to make the proper introduction." He goes, "Stop stalling now. Like I ain't got time for the bullshit."
Exactly.
and then we get the next hour and a half of just you watch him evolve to like a fucking prick. Like
there is the most magical moment is basically when Schultz and Django their plan is blown, and and he does the most despicable thing. I can't imagine how this was actually ever pulled off. But he basically goes and he takes a human skull and he states the story of that this is the skull of an African male by the name of Ben, and then proceeds to state that there is 3 dimples in the back of the skull.
the story,
That basically says that the science of it is you are to be a slave to me. And he literally turns to Django and he says, and I'm going to quote this directly. He says, "Now, bright boy, I will admit you are pretty clever, but if I took this hammer here and I bashed it in your skull, you would have the same 3 dimples in the same place as old Ben." And chills, just like, oh my God, are you, whoa, like, are you serious? Like, are you really going to throw this out like right now? But I digress. It was,
and then you counteract that with Sam Jackson, and his approach was a bit more comedic, but at the same time, it just,
oh, it's cold.
You fucking sell out. Like, oh God, he ain't gonna stay in the big house. That nigga there. So it's listen, definitely my number 3. Okay,
give me your number 4.
Number 4. Okay, my number 4.
And then I'll go twice.
Okay, my number 4. I struggle with number 4 too because it was gonna be between Ben Stiller's White Goodman. But I figure, I can't not put this in there. And I'm going to go Koba.
Koba
for a fucking monkey is an evil, calculated genius. Like, it's just... And going back to what we said about Killmonger, Koba is a villain to where, like, I get why you're doing what you're doing,
but you're still a monkey.
You're still a monkey, though. And, unfortunately, that's just the fucked up part of it all. But I get why you're doing what you're doing, and you have this undying hatred for humans, and I get it. They mistreated you. They practically killed you. But damn, even as a monkey, Koba turned some shit up.
I know.
And, I mean, played brilliantly by whoever did whoever did Koba. But...
Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, by the way.
Dawn, yes. Koba is hands down. Like he gave Caesar a real issue.
Oof.
He gave Caesar a real issue.
He did. Have you seen War?
I have seen War.
Yeah. Did you like it?
Loved it.
That's one of those trilogies that it doesn't get talked about enough. It really doesn't. Like everybody's like, oh, okay, name me a great trilogy, and I say the Rise of the Planet of the Apes trilogy. And I say, just watch it.
That whole trilogy is
fantastic. And then everybody's like, well, I don't know how to relate to it. And I'm like, Andy Serkis at this point deserves an Oscar for what he does, because it's hard for you not to understand why Caesar is just not. He's almost more human than human in my eyes. It's so tough, like everything he has to go through. That was a good one. All right, number 4.
Number 4.
This is not well known. This movie is very much a foreign film, but make no mistake, the villain is incredibly non-remorseful in what he does. He goes by the name of Che Pequeño, which is Little Che from the movie City of God.
Mm-hmm.
Che, all right.
A movie I can really only watch once every like couple of years. It's a comfortable watch.
So this was during the time that movies like Traffic and movies like Brazil, really, kind of came into place because it was a Brazilian crime epic. And I'm not going to get into too many details about it. One of the things about the villain here, Che Pequeño, is that he is absolutely remorseful. He did not care who he killed. He did not care why he did. He has no regret, and he has no hesitation whatsoever. that is incredibly dangerous because you're basically talking about a Joker, real life Joker villain, and he was an absolutely real life person. So think about that for a second. All the inspiration that we've talked about earlier in this episode with The Dark Knight, Che Pequeño in a very third world poverty ish way is he's a loose cannon. He goes and he literally just says, "Okay, where do you want to get shot? In the foot or in the head or in the hand? You tell me because I'm going to get the information that I want." And it's like when you see that, the most horrific scene that he has is he walks into a hospital and he goes and he basically takes his weapon and he massacres everybody in the hospital at the age of 12. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. By the way, do you know what his reasoning was?
Oh man, you got to tell me. Like I said,
He just wanted to do it.
That's a tough watch.
He just wanted to do it. It was just for fun. That right there. That's he's just intense. He's merciless. He's unpredictable, and he's utterly unscrupulous. It's insane. You've already stated your number 3. Would you like to continue on talking about Calvin Candy a little bit?
No, I think we covered the most with Candy. Just to kind of top it off. Even the way he goes out is like, okay, I will take that.
All right,
that's fine for me.
Then I will do. I will go ahead and do number 3 here. All right, my number 3. One of my favorite movies. One of my favorite Brad Pitt performances. And one of the most interesting. It's funny because the actor is actually incredibly charming, just in general, and they've tried casting the same villain in other things in more popular franchises like James Bond. Hans Landa, Inglourious Basterds.
Oh, you bastard! That was mine. Now I gotta change it. All right, go ahead.
All right, Hans Landa is a Nazi colonel, fictional, luckily.
Right.
That he takes pride in his nickname, the Jew Hunter, and what is so crazy about him is how charming he is. You can't help but realize that there's a real sense of menace in there. But, you know, if you walked into a party, you would think that this guy is pretty cool.
Well, I'd have a drink with the guy.
Now, here's the thing. Christoph Waltz, who plays him, wins an Oscar for it. And part of the reason why he wins an Oscar is because he plays he does 4 languages in an absolutely perfect accent. And let me be fair. I was not born here in the United States. I was born in Europe, and his Italian is better than my Italian to a T. It is insane just to hear how he prepared himself for his role. His most murderous rampage, probably it was incredibly terrifying when it happened. But when he basically captured the Fraulein and decides to choke her to death right in the middle of the theater, or not in the middle, but like in his office in the theater, right. And you have that scene, and you finally see that menace like just come out of nowhere. And
I still love that opening scene.
I mean, it's great.
The opening seems like because you don't know where it's going, but just off the father's sheer emotions, like, yes, this is ready to go really bad.
Is Hans your number 2?
Hans was my number 2, but you fucking took it, so I'm gonna change my number 2.
That's fine.
Is it on me now?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I'm gonna go my number 2. I'm gonna give you Frank Costello, Jack Nicholson in The Departed. Now I was gonna go Castor Troy in Face Off, but that's kind of a weird one because eventually Cage becomes Travolta as Troy. It's a weird thing.
And isn't that 99, 98?
No, like 97.
That's not 21st century.
Yeah, so that's why I changed that. But yeah, so Frank Costello, Jack Nicholson. Fuck. But I mean, the guy's a fucking menace. Like number one, Costello as much of a piece of shit he was, and the devil to Boston that he was so cool.
Yeah.
Like Nicholson played him so cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was pretty solid.
Going back to what I was saying about Ledger as the Joker, it was like, yeah, like the Departed as a whole is one of my favorite movies, but DiCaprio did great, and even Matt Damon, who's kind of like the second villain, and Mark Wahlberg was great, Sheen was great,
So many,
Alec Baldwin's great, Anthony Anderson's great. Like, they're all great in the movie, but you just
many great actors in that movie.
You cannot take your eyes off of Nicholson as Costello.
Of course.
Like, even when you start to believe that he was really starting to pick up on who DiCaprio's character was, oh shit, we're close, we're getting there. It's like, nah, like you have to see it out to the point where you're afraid for DiCaprio's character,
And then that scene happens, and it just, oh my god, that scene broke my heart.
As far as what the scene where the elevator opens up.
Yeah.
Oh no, I love that scene.
Oh no, it's amazing.
It's a great scene.
But man, did you jump out of your seat when that happened?
My heart stopped when it happened. Oh shit! Oh god! Oh my god! Oh my god! There's so much violence. Oh my god! Like it happened so sudden. Like Caprio's down, Anderson's down. Right. The other cat, he's down. Like, oh man, Demi, you slimy son of a bitch. You still get out. Like, love The Departed. Great movie. Who's your number 2?
Oh man. Okay, so here's the thing. It's tough because I'm circulating between 3 of them, but I already know who my number 1 is, so I'm just gonna choose one of them, which is a little bit unfair. A heavily underrated one, Amazing Amy from Gone Girl.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And the third one was actually Eileen Wuornos from Monster.
No, great one.
The reason why I'm choosing Amy is because the feeling I got from the end of it. All right. Not to get too personal, but I have had a situation similar to what happened almost exactly in that movie on a smaller scale when I was like 19 years old. And let me tell you...
Nobody died, though, right?
No, luckily nobody died. But there was red to be seen. But no, we ain't going to talk about that. What we are going to talk about is in this movie, for half the movie, everybody is painting, and for a while, you're starting to get convinced that Ben Affleck did something. He actually
did something, right?
Right, he did something. There's no way, like why hasn't this happened?
Right.
And you're sitting there and you're thinking, man, how's he being set up? Like, what's going on? What's happening? Why is this happening? What is this? And then you get her reveal. And I just, oh man, I literally said the words out loud in the movie theater. I was like, you fucking bitch.
You bitch.
What would you do with this? Why are you bringing back Rivers?
Oh, you evil bitch.
But she was terrific. And the fact that she didn't get an Oscar, I don't think Rosamund Pike got an Oscar.
She was nominated but didn't win.
I got a problem with that because she literally made me hate her so much. And it was one of these things where it's like, then you see her plans start to unravel, and she literally evolved as a character throughout the entire thing. She's sitting there and she's like, okay, this is my initial plan. And then she basically sees a video with him or a press conference with him and sees how charming he is. And she's like, I can make this work. Let me just screw everything over here. And then you're sitting there and and Ben Affleck's line when she comes back, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but she basically comes back in front of the media, and they're like, wait a minute, isn't this Amy? And she runs over and she hugs him, and you just see it in his face. He wants to yell, he wants to scream, he wants to hurt her.
Like, what the fuck is this?
But he can't because he's scot-free now. He's free. Everything that was there, she saved his life and screwed it over all in the same moment. And it's just like, look, I had a girlfriend at the time. And I know I'm sure I've mentioned this in our show, but I could not be around her for about 72 hours. And maybe that sounds a little bit crazy, but if you see this movie and you see what she does, and then you see exactly exactly how everything was formulated, and you think that maybe your girlfriend or ex-girlfriend at the time is smart enough to pull that shit off, yeah, no.
You okay?
No, it's emotional now.
I can tell. I can definitely tell. Yeah, fucking great movie though. Like that movie's awesome. Of course, my number one, which you've already ruined, fucker. My number one is hands down Alonzo Harris. Training Day. First of all, to see,
amazing.
Denzel as Frank Lucas, amazing performance. I mean, amazing. But he played a gangster. But what he does with Alonzo Harris, really his first time playing a villain.
Right.
What he does with Alonzo Harris in this movie, it's equally, to riding in the car with the devil himself.
Right.
Because the situation he leaves Hoyt in, it's like, dude, you do this every day? Like, fuck me. Like, I mean, just,
That was a normal shift. That was a 12-hour shift.
That was a 12-hour shift.
That was a 12-hour shift.
And the fact that the movie literally plays out in one day, and it's just a horrible, horrible day. Like I think he made it home just enough time to get dinner,
right?
But what he puts Hoyt through, and it's just even when we're first introduced to the character, he's sitting in that diner, that coffee diner downtown. And he's just by himself in all black, But I'll tell you something funny. My favorite scene in the movie, and it's so minimal too, but my favorite scene is right after the diner talk. You kind of get a taste for who he is, like far as I'm not interested in you fucking being the good guy saving. I want to see what you can do, As they leave the coffee shop, mind you, the day is super rainy, and it's LA. It's a rainy LA day, but eventually the sun does come out. They're walking across the street to Alonzo's car. There's the black. Was it an Impala? It wasn't an Impala. It was
no,
it wasn't an Impala.
No, but it was so pretty.
It was a fucking gorgeous car. And they get in the car, and Alonzo tells Hoyt to put the menu in the glove box.
Right.
And Hoyt goes, so where's the office? Back in the division? In this moment, David, I was like, we're about to go on a fucking ride with this dude, man. All right. He goes, where's the office? Back in the division? And Alonzo looks at Hoyt and goes, you're in the office, baby. Cue Dre's song. The hydraulics pump up, and we're now on this ride. Like, oh, dude, let me tell you something. Hands down, one of the best introductions to a villain we will ever get. We will ever get. Because literally, once that moment happens, after the tense diner exchange, and then you get in the car with him, and he goes, where's the office? You're in the office.
Oh, man.
Prep for a fucking ride now. Like, oh, my God. Alonzo Harris, Denzel Washington, he won the Oscar because of that.
It's so tough. Oh, man. There's a lot of emotions when I think of Alonzo Harris because everything about him. Look, did you really hate him at the end of the movie? Because I didn't. I just realized that yes, he is an agent of evil. He is an agent of chaos. But, man, he does it in style.
I didn't hate him. I didn't hate him.
I knew he had to go.
But that's why I didn't hate him, because I knew eventually he was going to go.
Right. But it was, man.
And the way he goes out. Oh, God, the way he goes out. Shit.
What was so impressive about it is you could not take your eyes off of him. And it wasn't like he was some cheap main story villain that couldn't fight or whatnot. No, he could fight. He knew the law. He knew how to get around the law. He was the law in every sense of the word. There was nothing he could not do that he was always in control of every situation until the very end. Until he realized that everybody was tired of him because he was so much in control of everything that everybody did. Right. And that's a villain that it's tough. It's tough to really hate but you know you probably shouldn't love him. But man, is it fun to watch him?
Man.
All right.
God, I love that. That's probably one of my favorite Denzel performances.
It might be my number one for Denzel.
Okay.
Denzel has had so many great ones. Reuben Carter the year before in The Hurricane, when man, you just didn't know, and he should have won the Oscar that year. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He should have won it. And I know everybody says, oh, well, in Training Day, he won his. Nah. Like, Reuben Carter was a fantastic role that he did. It was.
Well. But I'm totally good with Training Day.
Yeah.
I'm totally good with Training Day. Totally good with it.
All right. My number one, you mentioned him in your honorable mentions. And this is just my opinion. So, Anton Chigurh, played by Javier Bardem, and you did such a great job of describing him. And if there's one term that I could describe Anton, is unsettling. Every time he was on the screen, you didn't know exactly what you're getting. First off, he had the worst haircut I've ever seen of a movie.
I feel like that was like one of the main reasons why he did what he did, because that barber fucked
he had.
Right. I mean,
what if he
upset
hold
too?
On.
But
what if he was just like a really cool guy, got a bad haircut, he was just like, fuck it, the world's ending.
Listen, if Michael Douglas can go ape shit and falling down because he's had a bad day,
that was Anton.
A bad haircut can really fuck someone's day up. So,
how to describe Anton? Anton gets pulled over and goes into a police station and has to deal with this deputy that's there. And you're not really sure what to make of it because he's just sitting there. He's in handcuffs. The bad guy's caught. And then he goes and proceeds to strangle the deputy. And the deputy, you could tell, just had no chance. And there was this intensity and menace that came out of there. And you're sitting there and you're like, oh, my God, what is he going to do next? And I stated earlier, some of the criteria is the villain either wins, which in this case Anton totally does, and you can just see the chaos that came from him. What about, the first time he decides to use the pump as a weapon, and you're sitting there and you're like, what's he doing? What is he doing? Because nobody knows what he's actually doing, what's going on through his head. And he just goes and just blasts this thing right through this guy's head, and it's just so quick and so silent and didn't matter. The scene in the gas station where he says, how much have you ever bet on a coin flip?
Call it.
And you call it.
Call it.
How much have you ever... And you're sitting there and you're realizing... It reminded me of that scene from Goodfellas. Tommy and DeVito goes, and they're all joking around this table, and everybody's having a good time. And Joe Pesci suddenly turns. They're having a good time, and Ray Liotta's in there, and he's like, what, you think I'm funny? You think? And the room just goes silent, because you realize, and that's what won the Oscar for Joe Pesci in that.
Call it.
And that's the same thing with Anton, because at the end of the day, he winds up wounded, but he's won. He
doesn't lose.
He definitely does not lose.
And he definitely presents you with
He walks away. It's an emptiness. And it's an emptiness that there's a sense of realism that you see with that emptiness that is just beyond natural. And you're sitting there and you're like, man, like, how did you become this? How did you become this apocalyptic warrior? That by itself,
I'm telling you,
so cool.
He creates the most tense game of heads or tails ever. simply for saying, call it. I don't want to. I feel if I call the wrong day, I'm going to die in this situation.
Congratulations.
Call
you
it.
win.
No, I don't want to.
Here, I'll pay for my stuff now. No, man. Nope. Leave my gas station,
Just
please.
leave. You didn't even take the shit. Yeah, shoplift. I don't fucking care. You're making me very uncomfortable right now. Well, that's the show. We've had some great villains in the 21st century. Only can hope for more going forward. And there's so many we didn't even mention. So, with that being said, Thank you guys. One time we left the DeLorean in the garage today. Kind of kept it at home to come have a bros talk, if you will. But don't forget the 2 shows coming up. April 19th, April 26th. We have the Super Throwback Show. Then we also have the Marvel Cinematic Universe Breakdown Show just before I was about to say Civil War, Infinity War, and hey, back to the classics, man.
That's right.
That's what
Back
we do.
to the classics, baby.
That's what we do. Dave Neff, let people know where they can find you.
Well, I am the co-host here at BTTC, Back to the Classics, obviously. You can always find me on Instagram at David Neff Transforms, where I am taking a more prominent role in doing movie reviews as well as kind of putting into my own thoughts and feelings into where the movie industry is actually going. And also you can always find me at drafttech.com, which has decided to kind of not make me look like the smartest guy in the world because the Patriots just decided to do something, but we ain't going to talk about that.
I knew you'd mention it.
But it doesn't matter. It's cool. NFL Draft is 26th or 28th. I know I will probably watch part of it on the 26th, and then I'm going to head off to Infinity Wars. But, it's going to be great. My co-host, Jay, where can they find you?
You can find me on all this. Let's try it again. You can find me on all the social medias. Simply at I am Jay Alonzo, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. You talk to me and I'll talk back. The Back to the Classics Movie Talk group is up and going on Facebook. Jump on there, join the conversation. We love to have you. And of course, right here on BeatNetworkOnline.com, right here on iHeartRadio. Shout out to everybody at iHeartRadio. Shout out to the Beat Network family. Me and David, we may do an Infinity War review. Something we may cook up something real quick. We might as well. Leading up to it. But that's it. We'll see y'all next week. Love you, Center folks. We love you, losers. We're all losers in a weird way. I don't want to offend nobody, but yeah, love you, geeks. We're out of here. Peace.